Welcome back to Backstage Live at the Saturday Early Show. I'm with Ron Magill from Zoo Miami with Shu.
Shu.
Hi,
Shu
Ron.
the bird. Shu, how you doing? Good to be here. Yeah,
So tell us all about Shu.
This is a Harris hawk. This is a bird of prey that's found from the southwestern United States all the way down into South America. And a really neat thing about this bird of prey is the fact that it hunts in packs. They call it the wolves. They call it the wolf of the air because unlike most birds of prey that hunt on their own, these guys will hunt in groups of up to 5 animals, and they'll feed on anything from small rodents up to things like cottontail rabbits. A signature shot of these guys is sitting on top of a saguaro cactus. They'll nest in the saguaro, and they use the saguaros as big lookouts out in the west. They're really stunning birds.
Ron, is this bird full grown right now?
This bird is full grown. She's a female. Females, like in most birds of prey, the females get larger than the males. The females run the show.
Really? Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Because there are some birds of prey. Yeah, see, loving Lauren.
I guess that Shu didn't like that.
No, she was good. But there are some. Look. I've known Ron for a long time. There are some birds of prey. I'm not sure what it is, but they can take down a deer or something.
Yeah. You talk about something like the harpy eagle, which is the largest, it's the most powerful bird of prey in the world. I've seen a harpy eagle take a full-grown howler monkey out of a canopy in a tree and keep on flying at 50 miles an hour. They have talons bigger than grizzly bear claws.
Well, let's talk about Shu's enemies.
Well, Shu's enemies really are, believe it or not, man, if nothing else. They also can have sometimes troubles with coyotes, believe it or not. They really don't have any other real huge predators. Coyotes, man, development. And the biggest thing that kills them, believe it or not, electrocution, power lines, is the number one killer of them in their wild habitat.
Well, if a coyote's going to get one of these birds, it's going to get them when they're like a young bird, right?
When they come down for a kill. Sometimes they'll come down for a kill. They'll mantle over their kill. They'll grab a rabbit or something, and they get over and they're so focused on it, and then the coyote comes out and snags them.
Lauren, you know what's wild about all these little stories that Ron tells?
What, Lonnie?
He's not reading them out of books. He sees all this stuff.
Yeah, no, I've been real lucky. I mean, I got the greatest job in the world. I got a scam going on. I get paid to do the things people pay to do. It's a great scam.
Kind of like your job too, right?
Yeah.
So
this is what we call chemistry.
So now you mentioned that Shu is a social hunter, but
Right.
is it likely to ever see her alone?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It can be seen alone. I mean, when they're perching or looking out, they can be by themselves. They just tend to be more social. They're also social in their love lives, if you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Really?
They're polyandrous. In other words, a female will have sometimes 2 mates that she mates with, and both the males will help her raise the chicks, not knowing which one was the father. Oh yeah, no, that's a good thing they got going on there.
You want to chime in on this one, Lauren? Yeah.
Come back as a Harris hawk?
Come on.
Not commenting on that. How often do they mate?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah. And like I said,
You want to comment on that?
They look,
you gotta understand. Listen.
I invited you into this segment. Just remember that. I invited you here. So she looks remarkably alert. Does all of this scare her? I can imagine all these people watching, the cameras on.
Well, this is really a credit to the people who've raised her. Grand Camera Wild World of Animals, the animals that I always use in the segments here in the early show. And an animal that shows this kind of temperament is a reflection of all of his work and his staff's hard work. I come on here, I do a show, and I'm talking about an animal. They're the ones that do all the work. They really deserve the credit for that.
Okay, now they're located in like Pennsylvania or something, aren't they?
No, they're really in the southwestern United States. There are a lot of hawks. There's red-tailed hawks.
I'm talking about the animal agency that you work with.
Grand Camera's in Pennsylvania.
I just found out today there's all kinds of paperwork that they got to go through in order to get these animals here.
When I know the segment that we have to do, I have to get a list of animals, and then Grant has to get permits to bring them into the state of New York.
It must be really hard to travel with the animal. Do you sedate any of them on their way here?
No, and that's the great thing about Grant. That's why I work with Grant, because he works with animals that he does not sedate, he does not immobilize. These are all animals that he has acclimated to be around humans and be great ambassadors for their species.
So how did Shu get here today?
Shu came by truck, econovan, through the snow, hours and hours to be with you.
And how did she make out along the way?
She's doing great. She's totally settled.
Can we talk about her claws? She looks like she has. Is this
It's
a feather?
It's just a little feather. She was probably scratching on something or shedding the feather, and she just got a feather on the end of the talon.
They look very serious, I have to say.
The talons are the most dangerous part of the bird. So many people look at the beaks of birds of prey and they go, oh my God, I don't want to get pecked. I don't want to get nailed by the beak. It's not the beak at all. It's the talons that they use to protect themselves and to kill their prey.
How large are the wings? You don't realize until she actually stands.
It's probably about 24 to 30 inches across, maybe 36.
So, so this thing takes down its biggest possible prey. What are we talking, like a rabbit?
About a cottontail rabbit would probably be the biggest thing something would take. And like I said, it probably wouldn't take it down alone. It would probably take it with the help of other birds. And understand, their eyesight is a huge contributor to this success rate because this bird can see a rabbit for close to a mile away. Try to picture a mile away seeing a flipping rabbit. So their eyesight is basically 8 times better than a human's eyesight.
Yeah, bionic man. What about? I actually just saw something on the Discovery Channel about. Is it called falconry or falconry?
Falconry.
And they actually have like hunting competitions.
And they do, and a Harris hawk is a very popular breed with the falconers
Do you know about
because
this?
it's a social
How this
bird.
works?
No, I've never
yeah.
actually heard
They
of it.
actually, you go out and, okay, maybe you must know
Yeah.
more about it, but a bunch of falconers or whatever are out there with their birds.
They train them to hunt.
Yeah, and then there are competitions, like who comes back with either the
The
biggest
rabbits or
prey
whatever.
or-
And the reason why Harris hawks are so popular in those competitions is because they're social birds. They don't get stressed out by seeing a bunch of other hawks around them. You see, so they're good to work in those social environments. So they're real popular that way. And another thing, people look at birds the way they turn their heads, and they always say, oh my God, I can turn his head and look all the way up behind it. Well, understand that the eye of the hawk, like all birds of prey, is fixed in its socket. You know how you and I can do this up and down?
Yeah.
Birds of prey can't do that. They have to be able to point their head directly at what they're looking at. So nature's kind of compensated by giving them a tremendous flexibility in turning around.
Now, aside from hunting, are they so amongst each other social animals?
Yeah, they are very social amongst each other. Like I said, they're cooperative hunters. They hunt together. They raise babies together. They raise groups together. They'll defend the nest as groups together. Like I said, it's perfect. But the perfect word for them is the wolves of the sky.
Okay, all right. The
Wolves of the sky. That sounds
what
scary.
they are.
Have you ever been like looking up the sky and see like a bunch of birds, like flying around, and then seems like some of the big birds are picking on the little birds or something?
Well, those are usually vultures. And when you see little birds picking on the big birds, those are birds like jays and crows, mockingbirds going after birds of prey like hawks, because hawks will eat their chicks, will eat their babies. So they're mobbing them. It's called being mobbed.
Really?
And those birds come in, they're fearless. They'll come dive bomb these things. And usually they win. Usually the hawk will say, I don't need this anymore, and they fly away.
The blue jay is kind of a nasty bird.
A blue jay's got a lot of chutzpah to it.
Yeah,
Yes, it
it
does.
does.
Yes,
It
it
does.
does.
I have a question.
Yes, it does.
Remember all those birds that mysteriously died? in
Oh, the
Midwest?
blackbirds that fell out of the sky.
What happened?
You
with
know,
that?
nobody really knows, but I can tell you it was not some like supernatural Armageddon or anything like that.
Okay,
the,
good.
the fact that all these birds were of the same species tells me one thing. That all these species that were involved were birds that are high flock species, found in large flocks together. So it could have been a bolt of lightning or thunder. It could have been fireworks that disoriented the birds, and they all died together. The fact is, if it was something like an Armageddon, it wouldn't have just been the one species you would have seen. You would have seen birds of all different species in the area dying, and that's not what you saw. You know.
A bolt of lightning could have taken out a bunch of them?
Well,
That is-
not a bolt, not just a bolt of lightning, just the sound, the thunder. Keep in mind how sensitive birds are in their orientation of things. Okay, some cataclysmic weather event could easily disorient them, and they could fall to the ground and die.
Look, listen, Ronnie, the weather boy over here, I got a question for you. Why is it that when we see all these big thunderstorms out over the ocean, right? I see the big lightning bolts coming all the way down to the water. How come I don't see a bunch of dead fish floating to the top of the water after the.
Because most of the oceanic fish are way, way down low.
Oh, so
Okay,
the
deep.
electric current doesn't-
And there are times when animals do die from that. But who's out in the middle of the ocean to see it? You know, it's like if it falls in the woods. Does it make a sound if nobody hears it?
Now, I don't think the chat room can hear this, but Shu's making like a low kind of almost groan. What is that?
Lauren, this thing was making all kinds of noise during, not even during his
but that-
segment.
no,
Oh,
that
so
was the
she's
mandrill.
calm.
That was the mandrill.
The monkey was
Going-
making the mandrill?
Yeah, that's the mandrill. Gets excited.
So what is this sound?
It's just kind of listening, just kind of aware and kind of like, okay, I'm ready to get back in my box now.
All right, well, we'll let her go back in her box. Ron, thanks for coming with Sue.
Always a pleasure.
Shu, it was so nice meeting you.
He's a great
Thanks for
bird. Hey,
coming.
Hey, did you hear the segment when he was up with, on the early
the
show?
Jaguars ate the cables?
No. Yeah. Well, first of all, we had the mandrill sort of made a little lunge for Rebecca, and I think they're now dating. But he's got all these great little stories about like the jaguar. It was a jaguar,
Jaguar,
right?
it fishes.
Which fishes with its tail.
Yeah,
I
I've actually
read
seen that. They take a
that.
tail and they'll dip their tail in the water for fish, and then they grab the fish.
How
Oh my
cool is
gosh,
that?
that
and
is cool.
then there's also who follows the monkey around? Is that the pig?
The
The
pigs
pig.
will follow the monkeys because they know the monkeys are eating the fruit up top, and the monkeys drop fruit. So the pigs look for the monkeys, they follow them, and they get all the
And
leftovers.
don't they migrate with a group of like 100 or more?
Exactly. Bush pig, the Bornean
You were
pig,
listening to
bearded
the
pig, is the only pig that actually migrates, which is unbelievable. It's really kind of cool. All at once, 100 pigs at a time sometimes, where the elder animal or dominant animal will lead them on a migration to more food. It's
Wow.
unbelievable.
Wow.
World of the animals, the wild kingdom, live the dream.
Bring more animals next time.
We will.
All right,
you so
Ron,
much,
it was
Lauren.
great meeting you.
Lonnie, I
Thank
love you,
you.
brother. Don't ever change.
You're the best, Ronnie boy.
There's something going on here that I just don't know.
Ron was at my wedding.
Get out.
Yeah, our honeymoon was fantastic too.
Now you see.